Hello and welcome to another body language video. Today we're going to be looking at an interview with Jon Stewart and Richard Dawkins, and we're going to be having a look at the way, even though this is a nice friendly interview and there's lots of joking and laughing, the person who's being interviewed, Richard Dawkins, slowly puts up barriers with his body, with his arms, with his torso, and slowly moves himself away from Jon Stewart. And this video is an example of how we will have to be careful with humour sometimes, and especially sarcastic humour, because it can drive somebody away, and it can destroy rapport, and it can affect a relationship, and it's shown very clearly in Dawkins' body language in this video. So basically, I'm going to point a couple of things out, and we're going to look at the whole video, and we're going to talk about it as it goes.
Do you think it's more logical that you believe that after you die, it all ends, or that there's something else there? Do you believe that faith, that maybe not a particular faith, like we get white wings and we move towards a light and your grandmother's there with pie, like not specific?
Right, so first of all, this is the first one. First of all, I should say I don't own this video. This is by Riot Turtle Shield. So they're talking about the theory of evolution, which is Dawkins' speciality. There's a first joke that Jon Stewart makes, and Richard Dawkins' hand goes straight to clutching his chair, and this arm comes up as a barrier. We can see it happen again. Although he's laughing, his face is showing he's enjoying this conversation, he's relaxed, he's laughing at the joke as well. His body language is he's clutching his chair, he's looking tense, and his hand comes up as a barrier to Jon Stewart.
Like, not specific faith.
There we go, the joke's just been made. Everybody's laughing, but his lower body is saying, I wasn't very impressed with that.
But the idea of something beyond our understanding exists for us is almost a more logical conclusion than we are cremated and rot.
Something beyond us, that I believe, there's something beyond us, there's something we don't many things we don't understand.
Right.
But the particular thing of surviving your own death, palpable wishful thinking,
Right.
goes against everything we understand about how the nervous system works. We are evolved creatures, we are apes, we are African apes.
Right.
If you want to believe that you survive death, or humans do, when did it start in evolution, all that sort of question.
Sure.
It really doesn't make logical sense. But
Does it always bring you back to that idea of then, so when did life begin, and does that make logical sense?
Well, you don't have to draw dividing lines. You can say
Right.
that the origin of life was a gradual process. You can say that the origin of life in the womb is a gradual process too, for that.
I meant more the origin of life at the beginning of life. Yeah,
Okay,
that
well,
original organization.
4 billion years ago or so, a little bit less maybe, the first self-replicating molecule came into existence. You could think of it as the first gene. It's hardly life,
Right.
but it provides the bedrock for natural selection to get going. Once you've got genes, you've got a possibility for natural selection.
Right.
And then it gradually builds structures for itself, which are, to begin with, are rather simple, rather like bacteria, and then become more and more complex. And at some point, they start getting nervous systems.
Right.
And at some later point, they start getting a brain.
This is the part that I remember from school, but
Yeah, okay.
go back that up a little bit. That first.
So there we go, another sarcastic joke, and everybody's laughed. But again, the hand goes to clutching the chair and the barrier goes up. Dawkins was actually getting into a really good point there. He was speaking for a long time, and he was really getting into it. And he was interrupted by Stewart, who said, I learnt this bit in school. So we can see how he's, again, the joke has made Dawkins, it hasn't encouraged the conversation, it hasn't made him more enthusiastic, it's made him close up again. We can have a look at it again, and then we'll carry on.
Later point, they start getting a brain.
This is the part that I remember from school, but
okay.
go back that up a little bit. That first part you said, where did that come from? Is there evidence of where that came from?
No,
That first.
not evidence, because it happened a long time ago under very different conditions. There's lots of...
Is it just statistics? Is it chance?
Yes, actually, it probably is. It could have been a very improbable event, and nobody knows that. Chemists are working on it, biologists are working on it, trying to think of ideas. but I doubt it will ever prove anything definite because it happened a very long time ago.
Has anyone come close to recreating that moment?
Not really, no, but sort of bits of it have been recreated. But it probably was a very improbable event. And another way of putting that is to ask the question: how likely is it that there's life on other planets? There are about 10 to the 22 stars. That's 1
So that's
22 north.
That's 19. What? 10 to the 22 is.
So that's.
So if it is a statistical anomaly, chances are that has been replicated in
I think
the
so.
universe.
It's highly likely that there are. I mean, even as few as 1 billion other planets might have life, and that's very, very few indeed. When you compare
A billion planets might have life.
I mean, that's a tiny number. 1 billion is a tiny number compared to 10 to the 22. So.
You think I don't know that? That's totally a tiny number compared to that.
So here's another joke being made, and the barrier has come up again, but not only that, this time Dawkins moves himself away from Jon Stewart, in the sense he swivels his chair a little bit so that his torso is now facing more towards the camera and less towards the person he's speaking to. So that joke also put him off a little bit more. We can look at him slowly swiveling his chair round, so now his body faces away from Jon Stewart, but it's only his face that is politely looking at Jon Stewart.
That's totally a tiny number compared to that.
So what I'm saying, so if there are 1 billion planets that have life,
right,
then they're probably so spaced out, they're probably so rare that the chance that any one of them will ever bump into any other is very low. Now there could be much more than 1 billion. It could be unique. It could be that life is only here.
Right.
And it would follow from that the origin of life on this planet was such a stupefyingly rare event that we're kind of wasting our time even thinking about how it happened.
Right. So if I say to you, don't do that to me. So if I say to you, you have faith that other life is out there, you're saying based on the evidence.
Well,
statistical evidence that there are billions of planets, but isn't it still a hypothesis because we don't know how that first molecule got here?
We don't know. I mean, it's hardly even based on evidence. It's a statistical calculation.
Right.
It's a kind of plausibility calculation.
Right. This is so cool to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to get high later? But my point is, I guess what I'm saying is I don't have antipathy towards the religious. And I'm now getting the sense from you that you don't, although I've read some things that you've said where I think you might.
No, I think I do, actually.
Oh, you do?
So there we go. Jon Stewart has misunderstood Richard Dawkins' argument, and as soon as he expresses this, Dawkins moves his torso further away from Stewart, and he's looking further. Now his face is also looking towards the camera, but now his body is completely facing forward. If you compare that to the beginning of the interview.
Oh, all right.
Where he's facing Jon Stewart. And then now at 5:08, his torso is facing towards the camera. And as soon as that misunderstanding is made clear, then he moves his torso away. We can have a look again.
And I'm now getting the sense from you that you don't, although I've read some things that you've said where I think you might.
No, I think I do, actually.
Oh, you do? Oh.
So as you can see throughout this video, Dawkins has been gradually moving himself away from Jon Stewart and creating more and more barriers. Now towards the end of this video, this barrier is up constantly, it doesn't move away. Because of sarcastic comments and things like that. That's the danger with it, even though I use sarcasm a lot as well. It's very dangerous because it can drive a person away and make somebody feel like you're having a joke at their expense sometimes.
All right, really?
Not to every religious individual, certainly not. I mean, some of my best friends are religious.
Right. But you're saying that it's as a construct.
Yeah.
You don't care for it.
No, I think it's destructive of the human intellect.
But it's done some good. How about this? What do you think of nation? Do you think of nation states as more destructive than religion? Or
it could be. I mean, patriotism is a very
not the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So the isms.
Yeah, very destructive force. That's
What about dystopias like Brave New World type stuff? Do you think you're down with that too? So in any construct that lacks morality, you would have antipathy
I
toward.
think we have to construct our own morality, and it's quite a difficult thing to do. But we, as the decades go by, we get better at it. I mean, we're a lot more moral now than we were 500 years ago, or even 100 years ago.
No, I think that's. I don't know that's okay. I just think there's YouTube, so now we know what other people are doing to each other and how cute their cats are. You see, here's what's crazy. You talk about this stuff every day your whole life, so it's not that interesting to you. I got to tell you, man, I find this stuff truly fascinating.
Of course it's fascinating.
It's really fascinating. It gets to the heart of everything. I have long believed there's nothing wrong with religion as long as it's not coercive in any way. I've always felt that it brings a great deal of positive into the world as well, as long as it's not viewed as the sole methodology of that positivity or that morality. That, like you say, we have to develop that. But I also feel like, it can't be that either, God with his finger said, I will bring life to this bathroom mold, or that we just got luckier than other bathroom mold. There must be something in between those two things of pure statistical probability and divine intervention. That you don't buy that. An Appetite for Wonder is on the bookshelves now.
And there you have it. Jon Stewart and Richard Dawkins. Thanks for watching.